up on Bridgewater this week, Bombogenesis, how the first storm of 2018 affected Bridgewater, and the crash that could have turned tragic if it weren't for two local heroes. The Community Lions recognized two residents for the town-wide impact.
Established themselves as pillars of our community and deserve to be recognized beyond the typical thank you.
We'll have these stories and more coming up. Bridgewater This Week starts right now.
"2018 came with a blast of Arctic air and the first snowstorm of the new year." Thank you for watching our January 12th edition of Bridgewater This Week. I'm Scott Olson.
And I'm John Luck. The nor'easter packed quite a punch here in town with 13 inches of snow and wind gusts near 60 miles an hour.
We were also introduced to a new word, new to us at least. Jeff Fowler tells us more about the Bombogenesis and if the storm could have been worse.
Residents throughout the East Coast were bragging on Facebook after surviving the bomb cyclone last Thursday. The term bombogenesis has gained tremendous popularity thanks to the media hype, of course. But what exactly is this bomb? Well, believe it or not, this is a real term used by meteorologists to explain the rapid intensification of a storm system, usually a nor'easter that explodes off of the coastline when cold Canadian air mixes with the tropical air mass. Storms must drop at least 24 millibars in 24 hours to qualify for the distinction of being a bomb cyclone. Thursday's nor'easter crushed that requirement, nearly tripling the number, and as a result, over a foot of snow is accompanied by hurricane-force wind gusts, pounding cities from the Carolinas to coastal Canada. With this week's weather outlook, I'm Jeff Fowler.
Thanks, Jeff. The storm made driving extremely difficult, if not impossible. Take a look at this car hit by a commuter rail train.
Now, fortunately, two of Bridgewater's residents were in the right place at the right time. Ray Armstead and Ryan Saba pulled an elderly couple out of the car seconds before the train crashed into it. The car was then thrown 20 feet into a control shed, exposing live wires. No injuries were reported. A Bridgewater man was arrested for driving under the influence and threatening officers on January 7th. Police were called to Main Street early on Sunday morning where they found Casey Corbett doing donuts in the middle of the road. Police conducted a field sobriety test and found Corbett to be under the influence. While in handcuffs, Corbett told them he was trained in karate and would, quote, destroy the officers, end quote. He also attempted to kick an officer multiple times. Corbett was arrested for operating under the influence of alcohol, assault with a dangerous weapon, and threats to commit a crime. Corbett was also charged with drunk driving back in 2016.
Before the holiday break, we told you about one resident's simple gesture of serving his homemade soup to the region's homeless.
During one of his Saturday trips, Peter Kelleher noticed a woman without any gloves. He gave her his own gloves because it was a cold day. Later, he reached out for donations over social media.
And the community delivered. Boxes and boxes now fill Peter's garage, along with 1,000 backpacks. Peter is hoping to fill them with accessories, protein bars, and toiletries.
And there are drop-off bins located at 1 Bramblewood Street and at P&L Paintball on Bedford Street.
The Bridgewater Community Lions Club recognized two residents for their volunteerism and community spirit with the Citizens Recognition Award. The annual event recognizes the service and contributions of local residents. Alicia Fortin has more.
We are survivors. We are here to tell you that no one in the community needs to fight cancer alone.
The Relay for Life in Greater Bridgewater wouldn't be complete without seeing Ann Fagan under the survivors tent or walking around with a smile on her face, joke at the ready. Every season, Ann assisted in organizing the cancer fundraiser and led her own team of volunteers to make it extra special for survivors and caregivers.
And thank you for the continued support from the Bridgewater community, a community that makes things happen.
Ann's work with Relay is just one of the many reasons she was recognized by the Community Lions in 2017.
Towns, churches, and service clubs are always in need of people who are willing to say, I will. In answering the call to serve our town, is fortunate to have found that person in Ann Fagan. Ann's easygoing nature and quick smile and wit aid her in every selfless endeavor she commits to.
You may know the next recipient, Paula Surratt, from her beautiful cakes. She even made this reporter an amazing Leonardo DiCaprio cake for her 22nd birthday. But Paula does so much more than that, performing numerous efforts for terminally ill children and people around town.
It's hard to find a way to sum up the many acts of kindness and selflessness that have been demonstrated by Ms. Paula Surratt, but they are in evidence far and wide. We personally know dozens of folks who immediately mention her name first when asked to name selfless people they know.
And when she received her award, a very humble Paula used that moment to thank others for their service.
We never do anything with anything expected in return. It takes more than one person to help others in need, and others that need more than just assistance or maybe a shoulder to cry on, or, just someone there to listen to. But it takes an army to help the world.
Thank you, Alicia. We have some sad news to share about another member of the Lions community and a good friend to us here at BTV. Teresa Dunford passed away over the holiday break after a long battle with cancer. Teresa was an active volunteer during the annual Academy Lions auction here at the studio and active within her communities of Bridgewater and Whitman. We appreciate her many years of service. She will be missed, and our thoughts are with Teresa's family. The Bridgewater-Rainham School District voted to terminate Pay-to-Ride in June of 2019. The program allows families living within 1.5 miles of the school to pay for their students to ride the bus. The chair of the district's budget subcommittee, Dr. Susan Prewandowski, said the decision was based solely on finances. The district is punished by the state when buses pick up students who live within 1.5 miles of the school, but are partially reimbursed when they pick students up who live more than 2 miles away. To give you an idea on the potential impact of this, there are 969 students who live within 1.5 miles of the school. Of those 969 students, 261 utilize the Pay-to-Ride program. 66 students are on waivers for free and reduced lunch, and 8 families have more than 2 children who ride the bus, so they pay the capped price of $600. The Pay-to-Ride termination will take effect starting in June of 2019 to allow families to adjust to the end of the program. The committee who voted on this unanimously will continue to talk about this at future meetings while potentially discussing replacement programs. At their first meeting of the new year, the town council heard a presentation by developer Jim Pascal and former town manager Troy Clarkson regarding the property on Broad Street that stretches from the building that used to house a bowling alley to the lots where 2 houses burned down. Pascal and Clarkson consulted with numerous sources including bylaws, the housing production plan, the Central Square pedestrian safety assessment, and more. The development would have 80 residential units that would range from 850 to 1,100 square feet, and between 10 and 12 businesses with ample public parking, livening up a part of town that has been desolate for a few years.
So these are existing conditions. Those photos you can see by the snow, actually, I just took yesterday. And we're aware that there's a real concern about the condition of that section of the town and that section of Broad Street. And one of the things that this project most certainly does is presents the opportunity to revitalize and to create something of which the community can be proud, and something that will provide economic benefits for years to come. Potential for a meals tax, a significant increase in the meals tax. Out of 10 to 12 retail spaces, several of them would likely be food service restaurants, and so you'd see an increase in the meals tax. Public parking, I've discussed this a couple of times. The plan as it's been put together, again, and probably most importantly, it begins to eliminate the blight that exists in that part of town and to really spur a revitalization.
Mr. Pascal and Mr. Clarkson are looking to set up an internal task force that will be made up of members of the Community Economic Development Committee, the Zoning Board, Public Safety, Water and Sewer, the Town Council, and the Town Manager. This was just a presentation, however, councilors had concerns regarding the number of apartments and traffic flow as well.
Many of these I would expect would be people that hopefully really accept the notion that you're in a downtown area, there is transportation nearby, and that cars wouldn't be as prominent as you typically would see. So that's the real.
You would hope, but there's no guarantee.
Correct, and we deal with that in the city all the time, and so
I just came from the city, hence the reason I was late.
Yeah. So I deal with that every day, so I'm with you. But I can tell you that oftentimes the big concern is multiplicity in cars, and then often we find that there's many parking spaces left open. We'll sell units with 2 parking spaces, and almost inevitably, there's 1.
The start of 2018 for the council means the budget process for FY19 is underway. The council held a joint meeting with the BR School Committee and the town's Finance Committee. Bridgewater-Rainham Superintendent Derek Swenson told the council that there were a couple of notable cost drivers, including increased class size for kindergarten through 4th grade, which would require additional staffing requests.
That's been a challenge for us this year. It continues to be a challenge as we continue to grow as a community with housing development. With housing comes kids, and we need to educate them. So it's just something that we all need to be mindful of, not just the school committee.
The superintendent is continuing to work on the preliminary budget and will present it at the January 24th school committee meeting. The committee will have a public hearing on the budget on March 7th at the high school and vote on the budget on March 28th. The budget does not reflect the Mitchell School, however, there was an update on the project process.
School Building Committee last night authorized us to move forward in negotiations with the top candidate for an owner's project manager. In fact, this afternoon, myself, along with our business director, Kathy Macedo, began negotiations. They told us they had to sleep on it, which is I found to be a good response considering the offer I presented them. But I am confident that we'll be able to put something in place probably by the close of business tomorrow, and then we'll bring that information forward to the school building committee that you are indeed a part of, Mr. Fitzgibbons. So we are excited that process we've really worked diligently to expedite this process through eligibility and now into feasibility. And once we get the owner's project manager on board, the next step would be then to move forward with a selection of designers. And that goes through the MSBA along with selection committee members of the school building committee that we currently have. And then at that point, they begin to study what options are feasible based upon possible repair, renovation with an addition, or a total rebuild.
When we return, we're celebrating multiple accomplishments around the regional.
And the owner of 2 Wheaton Terriers is now offering a reward for the missing pups. Learn how you can help next.
Sup, Princess? What are you doing your book report on again? Memoirs of a Geisha? Is it?
I thought you were doing it on Moby Dick. Very funny, guys.
No, actually, it's pretty sad.
I just have a question. Does your dad know how gay you are?
Everyone knows how gay he is.
Question answered. Oh, you closed up shop.
The things you see happening online have real consequences. Will you stand up or stand by?
On the farm, we grow a food that's everything you need to eat. It's a fruit, a veg, a bread, a milk, a cheese, a bean, a meat. Hi, I'm Farmer Brown, singing about the foods you need to keep you healthy. Today, Molly's favorite. Milk. And the foods made from milk, like cheese. Marvelous. And ice cream, too. Magnificent. Milk and milk foods for strong teeth and bones. For variety and vitamins and fill and rooty too. Eat a veg, a bread, a milk, a cheese, a bean, a meat, a fruit. Eat a variety every day. My man.
The school district has a lot to be proud of coming off the holiday break. The high school was named to the College Board's 8th annual AP District Honor Roll. This list recognizes schools who commit themselves to increasing access to advanced placement courses for underrepresented students while maintaining or increasing their overall scores of 3 or higher. This is the 3rd time BR has achieved this honor in the past 5 years.
In December, Bridgewater Middle School celebrated their Students of the Month with a special breakfast in their honor. 7th and 8th graders were recognized for their academic achievements and citizenship. Congratulations to 7th graders Tiffany Semexton and Sophia Tybalt, along with 8th graders Catherine Lisco and Maya O'Rourke.
And many Bridgewater students represented their town at the Model UN conference held at Northeastern University in December. Students collaborated on creating resolutions to world issues including child refugees and climate change. Over 600 students from around Massachusetts attended the conference. Congratulations to all the students listed on the screen to a job well done.
And remember, we'd love to share news about your student or school on the program. You can reach us here at the studio at 508-697-1833 or on Facebook by searching BTV Access Corporation.
The owner of 2 missing Wheaton Terriers is now offering a $5,000 reward. Maury and Marcy went missing on December 9th and were last seen in the area of Summer and Flag Street that same night. The community has come together to assist with the search, sharing and handing out thousands of flyers, going on ATVs around the area, and using drones to try and spot the dogs. One of the dogs is a green collar, the other an orange one. The family asked pet owners to make sure their local vets, groomers, and doggy daycare owners are aware of the situation. Please do not chase the dogs if you see them. The Woodward family asks that you call them immediately at 508-942-6977. No questions will be asked upon Maury and Marcy's return.
Okay. For your health, we're in the thick of cough and cold season, not to mention the strength of the flu this year.
That's right, John. And choosing the right medicine may seem like a daunting task.
I get confused when I look at the shelves, and you should use extra caution, remembering safety first.
It is important to look at a box and see what's in there, how many ingredients are there, and then check the contraindications for if you have a disease state. If you're taking a medication, you can have overlap. Maybe it causes a spike in blood pressure, or maybe it can be harmful with something you're currently taking.
Once you or your pharmacist have determined a medicine is safe, look for products that match your symptoms. Galerakis recommends sticking to cold medicines versus allergy medicines. Both contain antihistamines, but cold medicines contain the type that are designed to dry up a runny nose and post-nasal drip, which may also help relieve a cough. A dry cough that lingers for more than a few weeks can be treated with a DM cough product to stop the cough. However, bronchitis should not be treated with this type of medicine. Chest congestion and a cough that brings up mucus can be treated with products that contain guaifenesin, which are designed to bring up more mucus. Folks can find relief from stuffy symptoms by using a decongestant. Galerakis says products that contain pseudoephedrine are more effective but require a photo ID to purchase them. A nasal spray designed for congestion can also help treat a stuffy nose but shouldn't be used for more than 3 days. And when it comes to herbal medicines to relieve symptoms, Galerakis says they're not proven to be effective.
There are herbal products available over the counter that are marketed for cough and cold symptoms. Most are not recommended. Things like vitamin C, echinacea. They can help maybe shorten the duration or severity of symptoms, but very minor.
Now, the doctor says those with chronic illness, women who are pregnant or nursing, and children should be more careful when shopping for medication.
To your tech, Apple has released an update to protect against a security flaw. iOS 11.2.2 is now available for download on all your devices through your Settings app or the App Store on Mac. Apple Watch is not affected. The company says it has already put additional measures in place to help protect its customers. The security flaws, called Spectre and Meltdown, can intercept activity on your devices. Apple has said no one has been impacted as of this recording.
Back to your weather and looking at some headlines. Bridgewater hasn't been alone in this recent winter blast. We may be used to snowfall and winter travel here in the Northeast. However, places like Tallahassee, Florida experienced a rare touch of snow with 1/10 of an inch of snow, and that really threw things off, along with sleet, marking the first measurable snowfall in nearly 28 years. The airport in Charleston, South Carolina picked up just over 5 inches of snow, marking the heaviest one-day total since December 23rd of 1989. Bridgewater had a high temperature of 13 degrees on January 6th, while in Sydney, Australia, they hit an 80-year record of 47 degrees Celsius, which means they came close to a record of 117 degrees. Many citizens were without power and the city was under fire bans. This month is typically the hottest month of the year, averaging in the mid-70s. Meanwhile, close to home, we have been enjoying a bit of a January thaw this week, with the mercury approaching 50 degrees, and a rainy weekend is expected. Temps are expected to return to normal over the next couple of weeks, and forecasters are hinting on the possibility of some more snow. When we return, a Trojan becomes a midshipman.
I've been in recovery in the hospital for 2 days since my experience with bath salts. They told me I could have destroyed my kidneys and that I'm lucky I'm alive. I remember being confused and fighting the doctors who were trying to help me, but my heart felt like it was going to explode. Trust me, this isn't the kind of high anyone wants to experience. Do yourself a favor and don't be a lab rat. Stay away from bath salts.
Children are curious about what makes things go. She left the keys in the car and the engine running. Always take your keys out of the car.
It's always the goal for a high school athlete to play to their highest potential in the hopes of continuing their athletic careers into college while preparing them for the rest of their life as well. Bridgewater Rainham fullback and linebacker Bryce Shaw was no different. Shaw signed his letter of intent to join Navy and play for the midshipmen from the American Conference. I had a chance to talk to the newest member of Navy's football team. what this process has been like, because I can't imagine it's just a regular college. You need to really work for this one.
Right. Yeah, it's been a long process. I mean, I think I remember I just told Greg that I started back all the way back in almost August, filling stuff out, and everything that's come, all the hard work playing football, but it's also the stuff in the classroom, and the application was a really long process. So to finally have everything pretty much over with is awesome. But it's definitely a long, hard process, but it's pretty good to have it done. It was basically Navy and the Ivies. Harvard was like my first Ivy of choice. Basically, I'd thought for a really long time if it was going to be a football school, it was going to be a football school with really great academics. And we had went up to Northwestern as well, so we were talking to them a little bit, but it was really just between Navy and the Ivy League schools. And Navy stuck out because of how good their football team has been over the past few years, and obviously the Army-Navy game and the serving your country after. I mean, like I just told Greg as well, there's two things I wanted to do. I wanted to play Division I football, and I want to serve my country, and I can do both, so it's pretty awesome.
Now, I heard you guys talking earlier about the Army-Navy football game, and you had a chance to watch that a couple weeks ago. Can you just talk about how much of a driving force that was, having the potential to play or even start in the Army-Navy game coming up in a couple of years, how that kind of went into the planning process?
Yeah, that's a game that's amazing. I mean, you ask anyone who's gone, they can go to a bunch of football games, and they're going to say that's one of the best ones they've been to. So having the opportunity to play in that game and hopefully starting that game over the next few years is crazy to me, and something that I'm going to be striving for. And that's just like it's like a pulling force. It just pulls you. You want to keep going towards it. So it's going to be pretty awesome.
Now, Bryce told reporters that he'll play more on the defensive side of the ball. However, college athletes are ready for any time the coach says to get on the field. The BR varsity cheerleading team won the state championship for the fourth time in 6 years, and now they're ready to go back to the national championships. The team won the state championship by just 1.2 points, and now the team looks to improve upon their third-place finish from last year. And the team credits a lot of their success to the coach.
We're coached by Tiffany Manhart and Brittany Freeman, and they're honestly like the reason that we're so successful. They're probably the most amazing people we've ever met, and without them, we literally wouldn't be anything. So I think all the credit kind of goes to them.
I think that Tiffany does a good job of just knowing when to push our limits, knowing when we're gonna break down at a bad practice, just always looking out for us, inside cheerleading, outside cheerleading, she's just always there for us no matter what, and it's a good feeling to have a coach like that, and we're really lucky to have someone like her.
The competition takes place on January 27th and 28th in Texas, and the team is raising funds to cover the competition entry fee. They have a GoFundMe page, and you can help the cause on the website on the bottom of your screen. Turning to Bridgewater State, and the Bears men's basketball team has lost 4 of the last 5 games to end 2017, including a 21-point loss to UMass Dartmouth. The Bears took on the Nighthawks at Newberry College with MASCAC play only a couple games away. Rashawn Ward led all scorers with 25 points, while Joseph Carty had 17 points and 15 boards in a game where BSU scored the most points since November 16th of 2014.
And we were there with BTV, and that was over 100 points. It was the first time any of us have seen that in a while from the BSU Bears.
I was kind of confused. I didn't know if that first one on the scoreboard worked at Bridgewater State, the hundreds call.
Well, hey, it works.
They proved us wrong. The Bears opened MASCAC play with an 82-71 victory over MCLA. Bridgewater State shot 42% from the field and was led by Joseph Carty, who had 24 points and 15 boards. The Bears had 52 first-half points, including ending the first half on a 14-2 run in a wire-to-wire victory, which means the Bears didn't trail in their first conference victory of the season as they improved their overall record to 8-6. The Bears' 7-game homestand has come to a close, and they will hit the road for a pair of games against Westfield State and Salem State before returning home to take on Framingham State on January 20th. The game we'll have for you on BTV. And the women's team entered the new year on a bit of a skid with a 3-8 mark, including a 7-game losing streak that had a loss to Bridgewater, Virginia that is. The Lady Bears returned to the Adrian Tinsley Center for the first time in almost a month, and the hometown team took on UMass Boston. BSU lost 77-50. Only 2 starters had double-digit points, while for the Beacon starter, they went 5 for 13 from the 3-point line. The Lady Bears took on the Trailblazers in the first conference game of the season, and this came down to the wire. The Trailblazers led after the first quarter by 14. However, in sports, as everyone knows, it's not how you start, but how you finish. And with 10 seconds left in the game, Chanel Melton hit the game-winning shot, and the Trailblazers couldn't answer back as the Bears pick up their 4th overall win on the season, 58-55. Melton had 13 points in the comeback win, while Jen White had 14 off the bench, including going 4 of 11 from the three-point line. BSU is set to play 3 of the next 4 games on the road, but with the conference schedule here, every game means a lot more.
To your news and notes now. Training for the town's community emergency response team will begin this February. The Bridgewater CERT team is staffed with volunteers who have received training in basic first aid, fire suppression, basic search and rescue, and traffic control. Members of the CERT team have also assisted the police department at both pre-planned events and emergency responses. If you're interested in participating, contact Denise Carazota at denise@7372.org.
Bridgewater Citizens for Civility and Respect is co-sponsoring a film series with the Unitarian Church. The Black Lives Matter film series will take place in the church on the 4th Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. The first film, 12 Years a Slave, will be shown on January 23rd.
The Bridgewater Senior Center is currently looking for reliable volunteers to drive for their Meals on Wheels program, which runs Monday through Friday. Volunteers will need to complete a volunteer application and query through the Senior Center. If you would like to give back by volunteering to drive for Meals on Wheels, or if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call 508-697-0929 during business hours.
All right, Scott, here's your chance. You can work on your dance moves finally. Maybe you can bring your dance moves
thank God,
out.
I really need to.
The Bridgewater Community Dance Series features a mix of international folk, dance, and New England contras and squares, and it's now in its 7th season. The dances are suitable for ages 10 and up. No prior experience is required, thank goodness for you, and all dances are taught.
Hey, no, I've done it before.
I know, I've seen the locomotion.
Yeah, that's right.
Dances are held on alternating Fridays with some exceptions from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Bridgewater Senior Center. Dates for the winter and spring 2018 series are listed on your screen. To obtain a registration form or for more information, contact Sam at 508-697-6848.
Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Bridgewater This Week.
We hope you join us for our next edition of the program, but in the meantime, you can watch our BTV Right Now updates on our website at btvaccess.com and on our Facebook page. I'm John Luck.
And I'm Scott Olson. Thanks for joining us.